red bus just excavate. Pregnant ladies and little kids better get the hell out of the way, because I am running. I'm like Forrest Gump, dude. I am running. So, the Titanic was the biggest ship on the ocean, but that didn't mean it was unsinkable. Okay. All right. I want you each to use ombudsman in a sentence next week. I got one for you. My name is Kevin, the official ombudsman of the Desperate Play podcast. You like apples?
All right, here we are. It is the first JPP of the year, January 1st, and we are featuring DJ Jazzy Dream Dog over here. We're at Club Yeager. What's going on, Benji?
Oh, we're pair the dogging it this morning.
Yeah. It was
DJ Jazzy Dream Dog.
It's Little Jazzy Dream Dog, by the way.
I didn't get all that.
Yeah, no,
I like that.
Yeah.
With Scantron 2020.
And Scantron 2020.
What up?
All right. Okay, like that.
So it is. It's our first podcast of the new year, and I think LJ kind of had a thought of maybe some predictions or things we think maybe could happen in 2019.
Yeah.
I feel like the way we're consuming TV and stuff, it's changing in the sense, like, I'm sure you guys both have DirecTV and you have your boxes in different rooms, but like people mine and LJ's age are getting rid of all like the cord cutters and going towards streaming.
Mm-hmm.
But now it feels like I have to subscribe to every single service I want. I need ESPN, and I also need HBO, and we're just going to get back to the same thing where I'm going to bundle with something. It just, where's the future of TV going? Because we don't watch TV like we used to. Like I hardly ever watch commercials anymore. I just skip through them. Like it's a pain now to watch a commercial.
Right. Going back to an old school TV, like an actual TV station, just feels miserable. Like it's the worst.
But you know, that's why I think I like live sporting events, because I like the commercial breaks. I'm not locked into. If you sit down and watch a movie at home, I mean, you got to watch it, and you don't want to miss something. And
like
so,
if I put Game of Thrones on, it's 57 minutes where I'm not getting.
You're there, and you're like, no, don't talk to me. I want to hear it. And in a football game, I like that you can get up and move around and do things, and I like that freedom.
Yeah, although the fact that everything's streamed or recorded or whatever, you can pause and restart. I like that freedom too. If I'm watching Game of Thrones, I don't feel like I'm stuck there. Although something like that, I am stuck there.
Well, let me ask y'all this too. Y'all are kind of techie guys. So like Tammy will she'll go to the grocery store and pause something.
Yeah.
And so it's like 45 minutes or an hour. Is that's not good, is it? Or does it hurt anything technically?
I can't imagine it hurting anything. Oh. It would drive me crazy.
But it drives me nuts. I'm like,
I don't know what it could hurt, but
I mean, are you thinking like some burn in on the screen or something?
Yeah, or something. Well, no, because it'll finally go to that, that moving screen. But it's not like your drive just stops like with a break or anything, right?
Right.
So,
well, it's just funny. I think where we're going with TV nowadays is, we talked about this, I don't know, it's months ago, but like movies that when you're flipping through the channel, you see that movie on and you just stop. Like if I see Born Identity on, I'm probably going to sit there and watch a little bit of it. Like people, I don't hardly do it anymore, but younger than me don't even channel surf anymore. Like,
so it's different.
Don't remember the days flipping through a channel.
Today's version of channel surfing is pulling up the Netflix screen and seeing all this stuff blasted.
And it's
in front
almost
of you.
overwhelming. And then you sit there
pick
for
something
an hour.
you might not really care about and watch it, and you
watch The Office for the 80th time in a row.
Right. So it's just kind of a different version of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it takes away that joy of just flipping through the channels and finding 10 cups.
Was that a joy though?
Well, it was to me.
Now I can just go. I can go search it in Netflix. Like I really want to watch.
Yeah, but there is something too.
You're committed.
There is something too. I'm not just gonna turn on Bad Boys. But if I find Bad Boys on, I'm gonna sit through it.
I'm not
gonna
pick
watch it. Yeah.
But if I flip around and it's on, I might stop.
But you don't think Netflix is trying to do that, where they're throwing stuff in front of you? That things you've watched before, it's going to show up on the list there.
Yeah,
I get
I suggest those things.
Suggestion on my phone that's like, new suggestion for Kevin. Why don't you try watching Good Will Hunting? I'm like, okay, I might watch that today.
Well, and that's fair. I just think that like Netflix makes me feel like I'm investing like something important. Like I don't want to pick a shitty movie. I don't want to pick a bad TV show. Like I want to pick something I'm going to enjoy on Netflix. Whereas on TV, I'm just watching it to chill for an hour or whatever. Like I'm not necessarily focused on it. And then, So,
okay. So you guys are the cord cutters though, but are you not transitioning to using the streaming services in that way? Where you just have something on and I mean, it's like a YouTube video. You start a YouTube video, it's going to just pick another one for you.
Yeah,
and
and all
keep
of a sudden
going and
you're
going.
That's a good
rabbit
example
hole.
because I use YouTube that way. I'll like Netflix is my like if I turn on Netflix like let's watch something while we eat, then I'm gonna try to pick the right thing. But if it's like nope, if Hannah's not trying to watch it, I'll just turn on YouTube and just find some like shitty video and just let it keep going for an hour and a half, and then so yeah, I totally use that like a TV if that's
That's the thing where Netflix and streaming stuff can be a little daunting. It's almost like when you're trying to figure out, you and your friends are trying to figure out where you're going to go eat and no one can make a decision. Right. Netflix is that like TV. I just flip it on and me personally, I flip it on to like ESPN first. And then while that's in commercial, I start flipping around. And like you said, I might find a movie, find a show. Mm-hmm. But now when I open up my computer, I need to pick something. Like I can't just turn on my computer and whatever Netflix is showing. Now I got to go, am I going to watch The Office the 18th time? Am I going to go watch this new movie? And then am I going to stay up for this whole movie? I kind of miss the days when I could just, which I guess I could, if I subscribed to a cable, I guess I could. But I miss the days where I just turned on my TV and mindlessly flip through channels until I found something.
I mean, you could just also get like Hannah and I've got an antenna so we can watch, live sports or whatever. But the problem with that is, man, watching commercials, it's just so bad. Like they're ridiculous.
So does anybody pay for YouTube?
No,
I do not.
Because I hate commercials so much that I actually paid for YouTube for a while just to not get the ads.
Just to not have those ads.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit there.
I stopped. I guess I didn't hate them enough to keep paying.
No ads is worth about $2, but not $5.99 or whatever.
Right. But I definitely I hate. Now I'm with you on the sports. It just feels right to break away from it to a commercial every now and then. And maybe it's the kind of commercials that typically play during sports. It just feels right. But
also with sports, it's something you can't make sports something you go back to. Like I feel like if I'm not watching the football game live, I probably don't want to watch it because I'll probably know the score
yeah.
And so I think that gets into this whole thing, and you've seen it with ESPN and Fox, and I think Amazon's going to try to get into it. Like right now, live rights is huge, and they want NBA games and NFL games because that's the only thing forcing me to have DirecTV is I want to watch maybe the Thursday night TNT games or whatever it is. But now I think you see where the media, like ESPN, wants their deal with NFL so bad that now they're afraid to say anything too bad about the NFL because they don't want Roger Goodell in the NFL not to like him. Yeah. So when it came to the Kaepernick and Trump stuff, they wanted to not talk about that. Or when it comes to Kareem Hunt, they'll present the facts, but they don't really want to talk about Reuben Foster going to Washington. And if that's happening in sports media covering that, it's going to happen in everything. I just think that ruins journalism. Yeah. Now, if we're going to let dollars decide what we report on and whatnot, I think it's where I don't know.
But look at, and I know you probably heard it. I think it was on Bill Simmons or whatever. The NFL made Fox.
Right.
They went in and threw money at it because they needed it, and it made that network.
Really? I didn't know anything about that.
I mean, Fox is a viable network now.
Oh, yeah.
That you didn't really know, but I remember when
Brian Curtis wrote a big article about it on The Ringer. I might try to link it.
I need to read that. But I mean, it does seem like I remember Fox was just this little network that you didn't think much about. And I remember
on what scale? Like a TBS scale or like a even smaller than that?
Smaller than that.
Yeah,
really.
Smaller than that.
It was like a couple nights a week they had shows on.
What?
And then they threw a ton of money at the NFL and said, if we can land this fish, then we'll be good. Huh. And it did.
Well, because then you're watching the NFL, you're seeing the advertisements about upcoming show, that it made it a network. It was worth the money, wow. I think, probably.
Yeah. You have any idea when that happened? Because, I mean.
It's been
a while.
80s, mid 80s or something, maybe.
Wow. That's crazy. That's really neat information.
But then you get like, once Fox has the NFL, now if I watch the game at 3, then The Simpsons came on after. And then I'm like, oh, Simpsons is pretty good. And now all of a sudden I've been watching Fox for 6 hours and I like 3 different shows on there.
Well, that's their plan. Yeah.
So that's what they're going for. Just I think live rights is, I'm interested to see where.
What is live rights?
Like the games, like the rights to.
Oh, live rights. I thought you were like a riot.
That's fair. Yeah. It did sound like that. I knew what you were saying, but it did sound like riots.
Okay. I just wonder where it goes because I think soon Amazon is going to get, they've already started doing some of the Thursday night football games. Amazon's going to get.
1994.
So.
Go.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say it's a touch younger than you. Fox is a major network. So.
I just wonder when Amazon gets fully into like, they've already gotten to streaming, and now I think they're going to soon get into NBA or NFL or something because they've already, and then soon, like everything I've owned, Amazon Prime and then streaming, and then Amazon's probably going to run my house eventually.
Well, everything in your house, I think eventually will either come from Google, Amazon, or Apple. I mean, that's kind of the world we're living in right now, right?
So with like we talked about a second ago with Netflix and Spotify does this too. They kind of take note of how you consume whatever their app, and then they throw music at you. Like they throw Discover and they're like, oh, I like this. One thing, it's kind of neat that they can throw suggestions at me, and a lot of times they're right, but it's also a little scary that they can watch what I'm listening to, and all of a sudden they know exactly what I like, and like Netflix knows what if they can do that with TV shows, they probably can do that with what I'm Google searching, with what I'm.
Oh yeah,
they can.
Yeah.
I just the data that they probably have on me, who feels like I don't have. There's not much to have. Like I think they know everything about me, and I don't even.
It's funny
just,
too,
a little
because
weird, but it's also cool too.
You pay more for. Hannah and I have got one of those like Google Home Minis, and so essentially we've paid Google for them to surveil us. I mean, they're listening to everything because we asked them to.
Yeah.
And they're just, they don't hold on to anything except for the stuff that they hold on to and keep forever. So
it's weird. We talked about the other day, those with apps, there's like the agreement,
Yeah, the EULA, the end user.
Those things when you download an app, it's like, do you agree to the terms and services? You never read the 800. You just say skip and approve. Apparently, LJ was telling me that those that's not even a real contract.
It's not a contract in court. Yeah, that's just because judges have set precedents that nobody's going to read those. They just don't get read, because if you read every one of those you come across,
you wouldn't have a life.
You don't have a job. That is your job now. Well, and I guess that is like people's job. There are people that read those and then say, hey, by the way, everybody should know that Apple is now, putting this in their agreement, so don't agree.
One year Snapchat got it was 2 or 3 years ago, they got in big trouble. They just kind of got in hot waters because their agreement, apparently, obviously we updated the app so whoever used it and didn't read it like we talked about. But somewhere in it, it was like, you're agreeing to Snapchat being able to use your, like they, not only the pictures that you take in Snapchat, they can pull text messages and look at your Google, and they can do everything. And someone like took a screenshot and highlighted it and was like, by the way, y'all are letting Snapchat have full control of your phone. And then everyone caused a big uproar, and the Snapchat was like, oh, whoops, that was on accident. We didn't mean to put that in there. And really, it sounds like we just got caught. That's the only reason we're saying it was an accident. Like, I wonder how many times we skip through the Apple on our, like when I get my new phone, if I skip through it, I don't know what exactly I'm telling Apple they can do with my phone.
So how do you guys feel in general about, giving up a lot of personal data with the prospect of having
convenience
directed, having them help put content in front of you that you're going to like? What do you think of that?
I like it. I like it to an extent. Like I like that Amazon suggests this, and I'm like, oh, I did kind of I do want this, or people also bought this, and then Netflix tell me what I want to watch. But also sometimes I feel like they're tricking me into buying things. Like I wouldn't have bought that, but they listen to me say something, or maybe
they know that you feel impulsive at this time of the night because you always buy something.
So they know how to manipulate you for their own benefit.
And the way they work it is like,
Isn't that what advertising is?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is.
That's why you walk through those little things at Walmart, and they have the gum and the batteries and beef jerky because
or like a gas station, you're sitting there in front
the best
of
retail space is right there at the counter where you're buying your
absolutely.
So how do you feel about it?
I love.
Because you have one of those Echoes or whatever you're living in.
Yeah, we have a Google and a Alexa. What is it, Alexa? Is that Echo?
That's Echo, yeah.
I mean, I like with Alexa, you can just say, order some more Marcona almonds. I love those Marcona almonds. and it, and it does. And then they show up in about 2 days. I love that. And I will say I love Spotify. We've talked about this before. I've got to find that. The taste makers.
Taste breakers.
Taste breakers. I still hadn't found that. Maybe I'll get you to show me.
Yeah.
But I love how it'll suggest music that I might like based on my listening. Because 8 out of 10 times they're right.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're like hammer, nail, hit.
Yeah.
It's
sometimes
great.
you end up with Wolfpack.
You get Wolfpack.
And that is enhancing your usage of a service that you're already paying for.
Right.
So that feels good to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
So how do you feel about it?
Well, I feel the same way. If it's helping me find things that I want to listen to or consume or whatever, or just make my life easier, more convenient, I'm all for it. I don't really have a huge problem with sharing that information. I kind of feel like if I'm out living my life, I'm sharing how I'm living my life with anybody I'm interacting with.
Right.
And if they can somehow use that information to help me, great. But on the other hand, like with Amazon, are they really showing me things that are enhancing my life, or is it more manipulative? Is it just typical advertising that maybe my life would be better if I didn't see any of that stuff? Yeah. I don't know.
Like with the Spotify thing, they're enhancing my music listening by throwing me Volpec or throwing me something new. But Amazon might not be actually helping me. They're just manipulating me to buy more crap from them.
Yeah.
And it's working.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's working every time.
Well, that's where I think you've got to take control. You got to decide what's enriching your life and what is being manipulative. You still got to be in control of what you buy or how you manipulate.
Yeah, I'm not one to just lock everything down. So even something as simple as letting Google Chrome remember my passwords. If I had to type in a password every time I went to a website, I wouldn't go to those websites and use the services.
I'm the exact opposite in that one.
Really?
I will not save a password on Google Chrome.
really?
I won't do it.
I'm like
My computer
Benji.
knows every password I have. Like they just save it.
I don't know why. I just won't do it.
But it's at some point you're putting your trust somewhere.
Well,
So I'm definitely trusting Google with my passwords because not only are they being saved, they're going through Google servers and ending up on my other devices too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely know those passwords.
Oh yeah.
Like I'll log into something on my computer, and then when I get on my phone, it's like, oh, do you want to use that password that we remembered from your computer? I'm like, oh, actually, yes, I
Now,
would.
having said that, I'm not talking about, I don't know, maybe financial stuff. I guess like my karaoke website.
You're okay with
Something
remembering
like
that
that.
password.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
But your bank account in the Grand Caymans, that one.
Maybe that.
Okay.
I've got some multi-level authentication that's happening with those.
Did you have a topic that you I saw you brought a bunch of notes. I didn't know if maybe you had something you wanted to throw at us.
Well, I thought of a couple of things that while we were talking. Have y'all ever heard of the cat tartar sauce?
The cat
The
tartar
cat
sauce.
tartar sauce.
It sounds like you just made up words.
No.
and threw
It's
them
I'm
together.
trying to figure out
It's
is cat the main word or tartar?
Have you ever heard of cat tartar sauce?
Right.
All right.
I mean, it's
heard
cat
of-
and
have you heard of-
adjective.
Did you keep drinking from last night, or have you quit?
Yeah, no, I did quit.
The word barrel's just out there and he's grabbing them and throwing them.
No. So, okay, have you heard of Grumpy Cat?
Yes.
Okay, Grumpy Cat's name is tartar sauce.
Okay.
Okay. And I didn't realize I looked up meme. I thought meme was a new term.
Carl Sagan
Carl Sagan, what?
invented the word meme.
Did he? Okay,
Yeah.
well, it's obvious. It's been around for a long time. I didn't realize it. And I
The
wanted
mid 70s, I think.
Really?
and that's where I found the Grumpy Cat, which is tartar sauce.
Did someone just now introduce you to the internet?
Do we all know what Grumpy Cat is?
Did that just now use the internet for the first time today?
Yeah,
2019.
there's this website called YouTube. You got to look up giraffe fights.
That's
I'm
why.
just saying.
That's why he's been so quiet this time. He didn't know what Amazon or computers or all this is.
I thought meme was a term like what is a new term and that's come into the lexicon?
Like a GIF.
lit.
A GIF, like a GIF or a
GIF.
or
GIF.
being lit.
GIF.
It's GIF.
GIF.
I thought meme was like that, but meme is
You're wrong.
it's
GIF.
been around a long time. Is it GIF or
It's
GIF?
GIF.
I think
I
it's
thought it was GIF.
I think we're like sitting on Dad's shoulder right now, fighting for his soul. It's definitely GIF, though.
Well, I'm going. GIF is peanut butter. It's GIF.
That's where the name comes from. The developers always had this saying, and they said, choosy developers choose GIF. That was their thing.
Okay, so LJ is completely correct. It is GIF.
Absolutely.
However, sometimes,
Sometimes,
when everyone starts using a word differently, that becomes the new official way to say it. So in the dictionary, I think maybe it will become GIF.
I'm
And
holding out. If
I'll
you
never
said
say
if it takes everybody, it's not going to happen.
I immediately judge someone when they call it a GIF.
Vice versa.
Are you serious?
Buddy. Vice versa.
When I hear
buddy.
somebody say GIF, I think, there's someone who's like he's got some
No, see,
knowledge.
I think that's someone like Pops over here who just learned what a meme was, and I'm like, you just don't know what
Yeah,
you're
and he's
talking
on
about.
your side with this GIF thing. So I think
I really didn't know exactly what a meme was. I mean, I'm being honest. And I got on it because, all right, Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Okay, can I say a little something about Game of Thrones?
Mhm.
Well, so
Like a spoiler alert? Is that what you're
I
saying?
don't think it's a
or-
spoiler alert, but when Davos sees Gendry, he goes, "Oh, I thought you'd been out rowing your boat." Well, that was a meme. They addressed the meme in the show, which was kind of cool.
because the reference is that he rows his
Gendry was-
boat away from wherever, and then we don't see him.
And we don't see him for 2 or 3 or 4
Yeah.
seasons, and he's a part of the plot. So that was a meme. So I looked up meme, and really kind of one of the originators, it looked like to me, was Tartar Sauce, the damn cat,
Well,
the grumpy cat. That
we could go into meme history. I do
Wasn't
this
it-
with my high school students
okay,
all the time. I'm
wasn't
a
that
meme
Richard
historian.
Dawkins?
Yeah, it was Richard Dawkins. You're right. I'm sorry.
Not Carl,
Not Carl Sagan.
So LJ's wrong.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
See, I think
My
LJ
bad.
might be wrong more often than we realize.
I know,
but
We don't
always
call
go
him
with
out.
it.
Yeah, I was about to say, we
need
can't
somebody
have Benji
smarter
on.
than us.
Benji's no longer on this podcast. I'd like you to
Needs to
walk
leave.
away now.
Speaking of mispronouncing things, do you remember in the tournament, NCAA tournament last year, Jim Nance, something happened. I think like the Michigan guy went over to him and he called it. He was like, "Well, that's going to be a meme on the internet."
A meme.
He called it a meme.
And then that obviously went viral of him calling. He actually
became a meme.
Mimi became a Mimi.
I'm going to become a Mimi.
Speaking of, we were talking about advertisements and live sporting events, and I did write this down. The NCAA tournament, I think, has the best commercials because usually it's Barkley and Samuel L. Jackson.
What are they advertising?
I think a credit card, isn't it?
I know what
don't
it is.
know.
I don't know what it is.
That means it's poor. I know what it is, but it's poor advertising if you really like the
it's a
commercial,
credit
but you
card.
can't remember.
But
right?
it's not necessarily. It's not even necessarily. Advertising isn't about imprinting on your brain some like obvious connection between Samuel L. Jackson's cool, so I'm going to use Capital One. It's about next time you see that Capital One logo, you kind of just feel cooler or happier or something. And so it's a subtle thing. Good advertising subtle.
Have you seen Geico now is putting out the best of Geico commercials or whatever? They had some great ones. Remember Hump Day, the camel?
I know what you're talking about, but
Yeah. I mean, that's
The
cool
cavemen
stuff. The
stuff,
cavemen. I mean, they had some great commercials.
there's a commercial. Pretty. It's some insurance. You made me think of it when you said Geico, but it's like a family sitting around a table and they're all sitting in massage chairs eating, but the chairs like rolling. So like the mom's trying to eat soup and she's spilling it all over herself. It's hilarious. I don't know what they're advertising, but the commercial is really funny.
The old Sports Center little ads.
This is Sports Center?
This is
Yeah, those
Sports
were
Center
good.
were great. They were fantastic.
Is an ad work better if it's like funny, but you don't quite remember a Capital One, or like one that I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head, but one that's just annoying as hell, but you always remember.
But you remember it.
Well, I think we kind of talked about this a little bit, maybe a couple of days ago. We were talking about, I think, Geico, because there is like there's a on both sides. If you think I hate this company because this ad sucks so bad, you still the name ends up in your head, and so like a bad ad might be a better ad than a good ad. But we were talking about, I think Geico has the best of both worlds because they'll make you laugh sometimes, and then that stupid damn gecko. With the British accent, and then that's the joke. It's a gecko with the British accent. We're supposed to laugh at that, and so they win both ways.
Yeah,
that's my thinking at least.
You had some. Were you gonna rattle off any more?
Yeah, no. What? Tell me about tartar sauce. Was there something to learn here, or was that just you first meme?
That was just about memes. I just was. I thought my question was: is it just me, or is tartar sauce a thing? And apparently, it's kind of a thing. This young lady, if you Google her picture of Lindsay something or another, I'll show it. She's a young, attractive girl, and she's made like $1 million off of this grumpy ass cat. I mean, why couldn't I have an ugly cat and take a picture?
Talk
and put it on
about
the
that.
internet?
Is one thing kind of neat about the internet is how well it's annoying to see other people make so much money when you're like, that isn't even that hard. But there's like this kid named Ryan's toy reviews or something. He's like a 3-year-old on YouTube, and literally he just opens up presents and like reviews a toy like a 3-year-old would. So it's not a very good review, but I guess it's funny. And a bunch of kids watch it. His family brings in like $14 million a year off his stupid YouTube
reviews.
channel. Yeah, and watch one of them. I mean, it
Why
is kind of
didn't I
cute.
use you like that
That's
when
what
you
I'm
were
saying.
little?
I know, yeah.
What the heck? I mean,
He just opens up toys and like plays with it for 3 minutes, and then kids just love it. Like, so one of my coworkers has a bunch of young kids, and he was talking about, like every single time one of those comes out, we have to sit down and watch it. Like my boy loves it.
wow, check him out, Ryan. Huh?
Ryan's toy reviews.
Ryan, I'll have to write that down.
So Ryan, he's an engaging little kid though, right? He's got enough appeal. That
Yeah, I mean he's a cute
So-
little kid.
You guys aren't making a lot of money with the podcast. What's
Maybe you make a point.
Out of here again.
we need a cute kid.
is that what you brought me in?
Yeah, we were hoping you'd be the cute kid.
Yeah,
This is radio, you know.
Oh, damn it.
So
we've got faces for radio.
so LJ, do you want me to lay it on you about why Steph Curry was correct
God.
and that we didn't land on the moon?
First off, I think it'd be nice to know if you could find out whether Steph Curry uses GIF or GIF, so we can really.
Well, I'm sure he's a smart man. He uses GIF.
Okay, cool. So go ahead. Now that the audience has that in their mind.
So do y'all like 100% believe that we, like no doubt, we landed on the moon?
I mean, we didn't. The four of us didn't.
Right,
but
correct.
as a human race, there's no doubt in my mind. Humans have been on the moon, planted a flag there. They did it in 1969. Yeah.
You don't.
I think I'm with Elle on that. Yeah, I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, I'm about as confident as I am about most things. Yeah.
Well, it's just it was awfully convenient that like in 1969 when they wanted to land on the moon, like so what was it? It was during the Cold War stuff. So we obviously had our little rivalry going with Russia, and then Russia launches what was it? Sputnik.
Right.
And then we say we're going to land on the moon, and Russia kind of acts like they're going to land on the moon. No one's ever done this. They really even thought it was possible. And within a year of us saying, yeah, we're going to do it, we just happened to figure out how to do it, and we didn't. We just faked it. I think JFK said we were going to do it, and then all of a sudden it was coming down to it, and he really realized, oh shit, I don't think we can figure this out. So they just did it. In the
So do you
studio.
think, okay, so here's a question. Do you think there is a robot on Mars right now?
Well, I do think we sent things to the moon.
Okay.
And we've sent things to Mars. I just don't think we've sent a human being.
Why? Why do you think that?
Because just look at, like, if you look at, like, what we sent to the moon, there was, I just don't think it's possible. I don't think we've ever figured it out. And
You think we've sent things to the moon? That's
Right.
possible.
So it's possible to send a thing to the moon, but
Not
not
a living
person.
Why?
I just don't think it's possible.
Why?
And then you figure out,
Yeah, but I mean, you can't just why? Yeah, why?
well, I'm not a NASA guy. I don't know all the science behind it.
Thank God.
We'd never have gone.
It just is all too convenient that within months of JFK going, yeah, we're going to figure this out. We just happen to figure out all of a sudden. And then if you look back at it, like when he plants the flag on the moon and it's blowing in the wind, and
It's
then if you
not
look,
blowing in the wind.
there's
It just
shakes,
shadows
it's
that are
residual
not
shake.
making any sense on the pictures if you see it. And then we just believe everything that the damn TV tells you, that NASA tells you.
Look, I've got a picture up. It's got the flag had a thing to hold it out. So that it had the flagpole and
Yeah.
then it had a stick to hold it unfurled.
Yeah.
And there's no gravity there. So there was a wrinkle. It's not blowing in the wind. And in fact, look, you can look. I'm going to send you this website.
So-
you can see two frames and the flag, the astronaut moves and the flag does
Do y'all
not.
know who Gus Grissom is?
No.
Yeah, he was an astronaut.
He was supposed to be the first person to land on the moon.
Okay.
And they sent Apollo 1. He was also very open about how he doesn't really think it's possible, and he was very skeptical about it. And then they sent Apollo 1 up, and it had an oxygen fire, and it's been reported, and it blew up, and they all died. All the astronauts died that were on there. And then a bunch of people tried to open up these different cases to say that there was incompetence at NASA, like maybe sabotaged this flight to kill him on purpose. And his wife believes that, like, if you look up Grissom, his wife and sons all think that he was killed by NASA. And then, so even further
You think
down,
that's the easiest way that they could come up with to kill somebody that's going to spread state
They're going to
secrets or
blow
something?
up a $10 billion spaceship.
That everybody's watching because
So
they're trying to
then-
go to the moon for the first time.
Thomas Ronald Brown was a quality control and safety inspector for the NAA. And he was going to he wrote a 55-page report on how this was incompetent. And maybe they didn't do it on purpose, but someone screwed up and this shouldn't have happened. This should have been easy to spot before they blew up and died.
It shouldn't have blown up. That shouldn't have
Right.
happened.
Well, it should have been obvious.
The flash.
So he wrote this 55-page report and they just brushed it off and said that, don't worry, you're wrong. And then he tried to, so he went home and he was going to make a 500-page report. And right before this thing was supposed to come out, he just conveniently, him and his family get hit by a train and they all die. And there was no autopsy performed by the guy that was going to blow the whistle on him. I just think, Big Brother might be kind of controlling things, and we just assume.
Is the Earth flat too?
No, the Earth's round.
Oh, it is round.
The Earth's round.
Right, but we're in a dome.
And so my entire thing really goes to
we're living
I don't-
on the inside of the round Earth.
I don't necessarily say there's no way we landed on the moon. It really goes to my overarching thing is I just think we should question a lot more. I don't know that the government's always telling us the truth. I don't think NASA.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, but I
So
will
why
say,
do you assume that we landed on the moon?
Because I just think we landed on the moon. I mean, they're probably lying to
Why
us.
did no one
about-
else? Why is Russia not landing on the moon?
well, once it happened,
still-
what's the
yeah.
point? There's nothing up there. It
There's still-
sucks. It's just cool to say you did it, and then we were the first ones to do it, and then why put all those man hours to say, yeah, we were number 2. We did the number 2 thing.
So you don't think
They'd rather get to Mars. That's the next race.
So
And
we
then
just gotta
there
find
might be something worth
So
having
we just got to
there.
find a way to fake that one.
Yeah, if we could
as
fake
well.
if we could fake a Mars landing, then no one
I'm
else
sure
will
they're
ever
working on
go.
it. Yeah, I'm sure they're working on a way to fake it.
No, Kev, you're so.
It's like fake dinosaurs.
No.
So okay, so don't you think though that it would be really, really hard after all these years to keep it under wraps?
Yes.
That we would have real evidence that it was faked.
Now-
that you couldn't dispute
That's-
with all the people involved after all this time.
The biggest argument, I think, and the one that I can't really refute at all, is if it's that big of a secret, how do you keep, like, someone
Right.
knows,
Right.
multiple people probably know, how do they keep everyone quiet besides just killing them like they did with Thomas Ronald Brown and Gus Grissom?
Yeah, well, you just can't
But-
stick everybody up in a spaceship and blow them up.
Well, you might want to be careful then, because you're kind of espousing a theory that the government doesn't want out. You could be gone.
Well, you see, I mean, like Steph Curry, when he said it, like there was that funny little NASA invited him to come tour Houston when he comes in. Really, it was like he got a message. It was like, hey, watch your mouth, son. You need to hush. Or your ankles are going to get broken again. I just thought,
Well, you think if Steph Curry should be concerned, you should be really
yeah,
concerned.
but no one's actually listening to me. People actually listen. Maybe to
I
Steph
hope
Curry.
people are listening to you right now.
Yeah, but I think they take half of what I say with a grain of salt. Like there are people
They
that
ought
go,
to.
Shout out to the Swedes.
Shout out to the Swedes.
So this is now taking a complete turn, but it's something me and LJ wanted to bring up. And you both are I know when I was younger, like when I first got in college, I learned the lesson of you don't buy the Dollar Tree toilet paper. You do that one time, and that'll really you'll learn your lesson. But I've noticed, whether at your house and now over here at the Yeagers, y'all both buy completely different types of toilet paper. Yours is a very, very the extra soft. It feels like the nice toilet paper, the good toilet paper. And Benji, you seem to buy it's almost like a lower quality, thinner toilet paper.
The hotel.
Is there a reason for that?
No, it's not a hotel quality.
Because both of y'all, the reason I bring it up, because both of y'all, it's not like you're buying a cheaper toilet paper because it's cheaper. I'm sure there's a reason why y'all choose. You're at the age and money where you can buy the toilet paper you want. So I was wondering, why do you buy the almost cheap? It seems like the hotel,
thin.
but I guess.
Yeah, there's a reason there. I'm glad you noticed that, Kevin.
Well, we can bring up the faucets too later.
And it's just in the guest bathroom, by the way.
I'm glad you noticed.
No, okay, so we moved into this house and we had a lot of bathrooms to stock with toilet paper. Okay, lots of people filling up the house. Haley needed to settle on something as a standard to make life easy. You know, one pantry or one stockpile of toilet paper, which it took quite a bit to keep this crowd papered. So okay, the only reasonable way to figure this out was to perform a toilet paper study.
Really?
So yeah, we got together and we figured out what are the factors that are important to all of us about toilet paper. And of course, comfort is high up on the list.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
delicate
expense, the cost, and it's
important.
Yeah, and that's complicated because the toilet paper that you have might, the number of squares on each roll is going to be different. But that's
true.
But
the true cost
is hard
to.
But the thickness and the feel is going to affect how much you use. There's lots of factors. And then, but a huge factor was the lint, how much lint comes off the paper. Anyway, so I created a toilet paper spreadsheet.
Naturally, my kind of man right there.
Completely believe this.
Yeah. And so over the course of the next few months, we sampled a variety of toilet papers and tracked all of this. And there was a clear winner at the end of the study.
What's the brand of toilet paper? No,
give them a shout out on the show. I think they earned it.
It's that what is it? Scott's 1000 or something. I can't remember what it's
going to talking about.
Something like that. But it's a thinner, like a denser, thinner toilet paper. So the softness was enough that everybody was okay with it, while it still met all of the other requirements. Mainly, a huge one was lint. That ended up being a huge one.
It's interesting. The reason I noticed the toilet paper is because I thought this is really good toilet paper because I've had like
it does feel thin, but it's good.
Well, when I first
I can literally tell you, it's good
when
stuff.
I first saw it, I thought, oh, so the bathroom I'm in, Benji gets the shitty toilet paper. This is where the guests get. I'm sure Benji's got the extra soft, with the bear or the baby on it, something. But then I used it. I was like, oh, it's pretty good. But then I thought about it. One time I got like really nice toilet paper because I thought, you know what? I want that soft toilet paper. And I bought it and it doesn't work. Like it is soft, but it doesn't get.
And it tears.
Right. Softness doesn't mean
it's not getting the job done. Like you said,
what you want some tensile strength.
All my toilet paper like John Wayne, rough, tough, and don't take no shit. Or that's how the toilet paper was. And I just think Benji has the best toilet paper, and it doesn't surprise me at all that a spreadsheet.
Well, I have some data to back that up. So.
Oh, I think is he searching for it? I mean, he can pull it up like right now.
What is your thought process when buying toilet paper? Because you don't get the same exact toilet paper.
I don't, and
I
don't
always stay stocked like the end of the world's coming.
Now it's whatever Tammy wants. But
well, that's a good answer.
I mean, and she does fine in toilet paper. It doesn't seem to tear and rip because that's the worst is toilet paper that rips at a very inopportune time. That's just not good at all.
No explanation needed. I know.
So my part of the toilet paper buying is to have plenty of it.
And you normally do.
There's
normally like 50 rolls in every bathroom.
The worst, maybe the second worst thing after it tearing at an inopportune time is looking over there and seeing there's not any.
Yeah.
And so I generally check that before.
What do you do if you look over and there's
Well,
not
I don't.
any?
I mean, I
Does
checked
a pair of
before.
underwear go?
It has.
Some socks?
I've been out on the golf course and left a pair of underwear out. Yes, I have. It happens.
It's out there now.
Enough said.
Do you have a prediction?
I
coming
do.
up?
I don't know. It's a funny one, but I do have something that I think is likely to happen. And when is the election will start this year, right?
Well, I mean,
It's 2020, right? Is when
2020.
2020 is the next presidential election.
Right.
But
But
now I don't know what I'm going to do because I can't vote for Kanye anymore. I thought I had all my
You're gonna
eggs
vote
in the
for
Kanye basket, but
Kanye.
now he's nuts. He's crazy.
well, so this may not be this year, but okay. Like I said, I don't know. If
No,
this is funny.
good. No, actually, I mean, but there is just to like Elizabeth Warren is now looking to see if she, has a shot at running for president. Like
That's the Massachusetts.
Did she
She declared that she's going to.
she's got
did she just declare that she was?
I think she
She's taking
declared that
steps
she was putting a committee together to see whether it was viable or not. So yeah, essentially election campaigning. I mean,
So we'll be
our
in
current
this year.
president has been campaigning for the election since he
What
took it.
party is Elizabeth Warren?
Democrat.
Okay. Well, I think it'll be interesting. So here's my
It takes
prediction.
the formal step toward 2020 presidential candidacy.
Yeah, so it is starting.
I think that we'll see for only the second time in history that the incumbent will not be the nominee for his party. I really don't think Donald
Interesting.
Trump will be the Republican nominee.
Interesting.
And it's only happened one other time
When does that happen?
that an elected president, and I underline the word elected president, was not nominated by his party for
So
the
it-
second term. It was Franklin Pierce, who was our 14th president.
Mhm.
And this is a little interesting to me. He was elected as a Democrat in 1852, but his pro-slavery stance as a Democrat actually helped lead to the creation of the Republican Party. The
Well,
Republican
if you
Party,
go back
which
in
you would
history,
think,
it kind of confuses you if you look. Like
the
Democrats
the
were
Republicans are
conservative.
kind of what the Democrats.
Yeah, there was a
a
flip flop.
Shout out to
I can't
Dr.
remember when
Waggy.
it was, but
Dr. Waggy.
Yeah, it's back in the old history professor.
Oh yeah. But yeah, Abraham Lincoln was a Republican, and you would think he freed the slave, the Emancipation Proclamation.
Mhm.
You would think that'd be more democratic, liberal, but he was a Republican. So, anyway, so I'll finish this up, but.
So do you think real quick on the election stuff? Do you think it's likely that a celebrity type runs for president, like a Oprah or Kanye acting like he's not going to?
Here's the
At
thing.
least I hope
Why
not.
would you? If you have all that money, why would you go through the?
The president kind of seems like a shitty job.
Well,
It seems
but
like not a great job.
it does seem as long as the current dude doesn't end up in a jail cell. He's made a lot of money on this. I mean, every time the Secret Service has to set up at Mar-a-Lago, that's money in the Trump pocket. So it's not necessarily a loss. You can definitely turn it in, and that brand name has gotten pretty huge. Again, as long as
I'm just kind of with that. Like,
get through
if
the
you're
term.
already pretty well off, the president seems like if you do a good job is just like you didn't screw anything up too bad. Like, no one ever says like. I just feel like presidents always get shit on all the time, and like, it just seems like.
even a
terrible
great
job.
president's got
Yeah,
enemies.
that goes with the job.
It just seems like I wouldn't want that job at all. It doesn't sound.
I mean, you have to run for president because you're idealistic and, you're wanting to make a change in the world, for a better place. It's not for money or fame or.
Well, I mean, that's who I
Could
would
be.
want. Yeah,
Right.
would you consider Donald Trump was a celebrity?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So do you think that could be like the shift in how we like the presidential candidates? Like, could The Rock run for president?
Ronald Reagan was a
Yep.
feature length movie star.
Okay. I do
Back
think I
in the day.
kind of knew that. But I'm sorry, I kind of interrupt where you're going. I just think there's gonna be more
there
celebrities.
were.
I think
the only thing
people
I was
will
going to
run.
add.
I don't think they'll win.
There were 4 others that were not nominated by their party, but they all came into office by
Assassination,
assassination,
or-
something like
yeah.
that. None of them were elected. So there's only been one other elected, Franklin Pierce, that was not the nominee.
Those
And
are
I think
the-
we're going to see that. I think
The Greg Williamses of the
Greg
presidents.
Williams, the president.
that aren't going to be able to hold their job next year.
Right.
Well, Greg Williams turned down a spot as a president.
Yeah, you think so?
Turns down a lot of open
Greg
jobs.
Williams, for those of you that don't know, is the acting interim coach of the Cleveland Browns, the winningest coach of the last 3 or 4
Probably
years.
in a long time. The Browns
In a
haven't
long
done a lot
time.
of winning.
No, they
Not
haven't.
since I've been alive.
No, they haven't.
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if Trump ended up being the Republican candidate. next
I
year.
don't know. I feel like it's gonna go one way or another because that's how the world is. I guess that's just. But I think it's relatively likely, but I also think like it could be just as easily likely that everybody on the conservative side doubles down real hard. And
well, it could also maybe not be so much that, but could be maybe some factors that led to him. Well, I'm surprised that he was the candidate last time and that he won, but our voting system, and the way votes get split, might be a cause for that, and that could happen again.
It certainly could.
If Donald Trump wasn't the Republican candidate, would he still run, you think? Can he still run as like an independent?
I guess, you can run. I mean, hell, I could run as an independent, right?
Yeah. I mean, there are some restrictions, but I'm sure.
Live 2020.
I don't want it.
Yeah. I mean, would he? Because that would be a pretty wild election cycle. I like the writers of Earth 2020. That'd be a good plot line, I think. I'm just throwing it out there for the writers listening.
I don't know. If that happened, they'd have to know that there's no way he or the Republican candidate would have a chance then.
I'm sure, point. So, but also, like, who would stop him?
That would be such a.
Can y'all educate me on what exactly a government shutdown means?
The government's not working.
Right. But like, so like they just aren't working. They're like on a long vacation.
Like all the national parks, like the
right.
You can't go to a national park and things like that.
Is this right that like TSA and those people aren't getting paid right now? Like,
essential services like that.
Like a mailman,
they keep going.
Mailwoman and mailman, they're still working, but are they getting paid?
The Postal Service is a separate entity. I don't think
it's federally funded, but it's not.
But right. Somehow it doesn't get directly affected.
Is Trump still getting a check?
I think everybody in Congress and the executive branch and the big elected officials and the Supreme Court justices, I think all still get paid. I think. I could be wrong.
It just seems like, I don't know, not much is in my personal life, not much has changed
touching
since
you.
a government shutdown. So I wonder what is it just kind of a...
Here's something I learned that I think you might find interesting. So there's, I think, 3 people on the International Space Station right now. And with the government shutdown, that means NASA doesn't have funding to have people monitor those 3 people. So they have 100 people in there out of the usual like 5,000 whose job it is to keep these 3 people alive. And now there's just 100 in the room.
Well, they better hurry up and start getting those paychecks back. People might start talking about all the fake stuff going on.
Maybe so. See, money talks.
There you go.
All right.
Did you have anything else you wanted to bring up, Pops?
We'll talk about how big windmills are if you want.
Let's talk about how big windmills are.
Windmills are huge. You want to talk about how big windmills are?
How big are windmills? How big are they?
They're huge. They are.
So windmills. You're talking like what are you talking about?
The wind turbines.
Turbines.
Well, it came up for me. It was from the road. So I'm driving out through West Texas.
After you don't use or wash your hands, you probably use the bathroom, didn't wash your hands.
Kevin? I mean, do we need to go over that again? If the house is clean and I don't touch anything in the bathroom, dude, sometimes I don't wash.
Anyway,
I'm cleaner than everything in a gas station bathroom.
You and your dirty hands happen to look
So I'm
over.
driving. No, but in Texarkana, often we will see, and y'all probably see here that you'll see them pulling those blades, the turbine blades.
I didn't know what that was for the longest time.
Those are just the turbine. That's just the turbine blade. That's
turbine.
But it's a foil.
Turbine?
It's no. Am I not saying it right? Turbine.
There you go. Yeah.
Do you have to say turbine? I think they call it turbine still.
What?
The turbine
Am I
is what you wear on your head.
I mean, am I wrong?
It's a wind.
No, I think turbine.
I think it's
You can say turbine?
I think that's an adequate pronunciation.
If you're going to come at the top, you better not miss.
I mean, GIF.
Oh, you can say turbine.
Yeah.
Now, don't you feel bad or all this?
You should. So you're just making fun of your old pops. So those things, when you see those things coming through, those are at least, I think the smallest ones are 121 feet or 40 yards.
Wow.
They're 40 yards long. I put a lot of this in yards because we're football-oriented people. The tallest one offshore, they stand from base to tip. If you have the turbine at the very top, in the whole base, 466 feet or a football field and a half. So that's how tall they are in general. And the reason they stop at about 466 is because above 499 you have to get FAA approval.
Can I pause you for just a second?
Yeah.
I think Kevin's looking on eBay to buy a wind turbine.
I just typed in turbine, and you can buy one of these.
You can buy one?
Yeah, it's a small payment of $169,000.
$169,900, and you can get.
Oh, I'm sorry, I dropped the 900.
A wind generator, turbine energy, low start off grid speed, high power generation. But
Everybody's putting the
Free
solar
shipping,
power,
though.
the solar
They'll do free
panel.
shipping.
Oh,
Free shipping.
Yeah, they
Okay.
do throw in free shipping with that
Well,
$169,000.
that's shipping's substantial. I mean,
well, especially on an object this large.
this large.
Right,
I mean,
You see these eBay sales shipping down the highway all the time. They are huge.
I'm just imagining everybody putting like solar panels on their roof, and Dad's getting a wind turbine or turbine.
See, turbine just doesn't sound that right.
I feel like I've never heard somebody call it a turbine, so I don't know how I missed this.
Well, I didn't know how I missed tartar sauce either, but I did. So
You just learned about Grumpy Cat. Is that what that was about?
well, no, I knew who Grumpy Cat was. I mean, I'd seen it, but not much. I mean, I'd seen it like one time. I saw this picture of this grumpy looking cat. I didn't know it was a thing. I mean, I just thought somebody found a picture on the internet of a grumpy cat.
I just have to say, GIF bugs the hell out of me.
Yes.
Okay.
God, we are
I've been in software for a long time, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And, back in the 80s, I was working on graphic software and it was GIF. Everyone.
You
it
mean
was GIF everywhere.
graphics software?
So hearing these other pronunciations it just sounds like a different language to me.
I'm so with you on that one.
But it's
Perhaps we should try to change. They
No,
feel
it's
strongly
spelled
about
with
it.
a G, not a J.
So is giraffe.
So are we going to call it, what'd you call it, graphics?
Yeah, giraffics.
Yeah, we're going to start calling.
Are we going to start calling it scuba?
What?
Because you pronounce it the way that you would pronounce those
Are
words.
you for scuba? Are you up for scuba? Exactly.
You don't.
Like Zippo.
It doesn't require what's the word? An acronym?
An acronym is
that doesn't require that you pronounce the letters that they would be
Is
pronounced.
GIF an acronym? Or is it a
yeah.
shortened word?
It's just a.
It stands for graphics interchange format or something like that. But
it stands for graphics.
graphics. Yeah. It's
Okay,
not, it's
so-
not graphics.
So does that mean that when your phone takes a
But
picture,
the word is
saves
an
it-
acronym for graphics.
When your phone takes a picture, does it save it in a JPEG format?
JPEG.
JPEG. It's photograph, right?
Huh?
The P stands for photographic, so it'd be a JPEG. Or do you maybe pronounce it the way that it looks like it should be pronounced?
And it looks like it should be pronounced GIF.
Okay, so we'll start talking about giraffes then. Giraffe fights are pretty great. G's can be pronounced that way. The developer decided it was pronounced that way.
And the developer might have been wrong.
it was an
How is the developer wrong about a word they made up?
He was just
I mean,
wrong.
I have to say, I've always pronounced it GIF, but I mean, I may change these guys probably do know. I would defer.
If it was just Benji telling me, I'd probably go with it. But since LJ's doing it, there's no way I'm calling it GIF.
well, no, Benji's the one that made it more validation, no doubt.
So we just got done. This is random, but we just got done on New Year's Eve. There was we did a lot of karaokeing, and I was curious to y'all's thought. What makes a great karaoke song?
That's a great question.
Because is it something that is just fun, or is it something everyone knows, like so they can sing? Like, what makes?
I think there's two good elements in a perfect karaoke song, and there is like a good chance to have fun showing off your pipes or pretending to show off your pipes,
right.
And then also there are wide sections where the crowd sings along. So like something like "Don't Stop Believing" is always a good choice because everybody knows the chorus. Mm-hmm. Everybody in the world does. But
Because there's nothing worse than the person, and I've been that person before. I learned my lesson the hard way. Is you think, oh, this is a song everyone likes, and then you get up there and realize, oh, we don't know anything but the chorus, and now you're just sitting there. Like there's nothing worse than being that person that called up a song and then can't sing it at all.
I went to an open mic night, by the way, that just reminds me. And there was a sign out front where you had to pay $20 if you sang Wagon Wheel.
So do you think what makes a good karaoke
Yeah,
song is just people being able to sing along with it?
Yeah, I think that's pretty high up there on the list. Also, it can't. There's songs that I would love to sing, but there's too many long stretches of instrumental.
Yes,
breaks.
that's true.
Yeah,
That big instrumental
really
break
good
is
song.
rough.
Excellent point.
Which "Don't Stop Believing" has a pretty long instrumental break.
That's
So
like
then
you
we're
go
just
get
kind
you
of
fix you a drink.
we're
and
kind of
then
just
come back.
watching the guy watch the screen. Like it should be soon.
You have to be a multifaceted karaoke performer to pull that off because you got to do a dance or do
like
something during
air
that
guitar
time.
solo
Yeah.
or something. But
So do you think if you're choosing a karaoke song, is it something that you think you can sing well, or just something that people?
Well, you notice I don't choose many karaoke songs.
Correct.
And y'all heard me last night, and it's probably a good idea that I don't. But I think it's you choose it because people can sing to it. And I didn't think about the long instrumental break, but that is very pertinent.
Yeah.
I think that's an
This is somebody that's done a few karaoke before.
I think if it's a song that not everybody knows, that's okay. If you can perform it in a way that's
See, but I think you need to be
some way.
Yeah, entertaining or just a good singer. Like it's one thing when Hannah gets up there and sings because she can actually sing. When I get up there, hopefully it's either sing along or funny.
You're bringing your charisma, not your vocal cords.
I'm not bringing good vocal cords.
The pipes, yeah.
I have pipes for talking, not for singing.
There are various ways to entertain.
Thank God. Good question.
So we were talking about voting earlier. So what do you guys think about alternate voting systems?
Oh,
what do you mean?
Great.
What do you mean?
Because we do first past the post, right? Is that kind of what you're talking about?
What?
Yeah, I need y'all to elaborate.
Yeah, help me.
So what I'm thinking, I think what you're trying to say, Benji, is
I'm going to look up the actual terms.
We do a first past the post, which means like you have to reach a certain number of votes. I mean, of electoral college votes, and you just straight up win. And so one of the other versions that I've heard about is this idea of like you rank your choices.
Right.
So that way, if you say in this election, if you liked, who was the libertarian that ran, or Jill Stein? I know her name. If you like Jill Stein, but you know that voting for Jill Stein is really a vote for a Republican because you're not voting for a Democrat because most people like, or Ralph Nader, I guess, is maybe an even better example.
Ross Perot won the election for what was that? Who was that?
That was
Perot won, and he pulled enough votes away.
Was that Clinton? No,
that was
HW.
Yeah, HW
and then W won because allegedly Nader took enough votes in Florida from Gore.
Yeah.
But so a ranked system, you would say, well, I want Nader first, Gore second, Bush third, if that's the way that you vote. So then that way, they'll just run through the cycle and eliminate one person each round or whatever. And so if your first person gets voted, doesn't get enough votes, then they'll count your second vote as your new first vote. And so you can vote for somebody you're not sure is going to win and give third party candidates a much better chance than they have now.
Right. So we have is plurality voting systems are generally what we use. And it's just whoever gets the most votes. You could have however many, if there's two people, if there's two people running, then all these voting systems work the same. But if there's more than two, then you have a situation like you're describing, you split the vote and somebody gets elected who most people really don't want to be elected. But yeah, like you said, the ranked voting system, some state used it this year recently.
Really?
I think voting for governor.
Interesting.
Like, what was that?
What is the Heisman Trophy like that? Don't they?
That's what I was thinking. It sounds like the Heisman Trophy voting.
All college football voting is like that. I think the poll.
But does the Heisman winner get the most number one votes, or is it you get so many points for one, so many points for two, so many points for
I think
three?
It's that one that they do, which is not exactly like the ranked voting that I'm talking about, but it is very similar. Like you're
so there's a variety.
Maine was the one that did it in the 2008. Maine.
Okay,
cool.
There's some controversy about it. It's weird because somebody wins that people were griping because the person who got the most votes didn't win. Well, that's the whole point of this,
right?
So you gather the results, whoever you count up who has the most first place votes. And if they have more than 50% of the tally, then they win. If they don't, you eliminate the
lowest vote,
whoever got the least. Then you do it again. And so that will, like, somebody might have voted for that person. That'll kick them off who they voted for. Their rankings go up.
Right.
And then you do it again. You keep doing that, eliminating people until somebody has more than 50% of the votes.
So what is a runoff election? Isn't a runoff election when there's no one got a majority of the votes?
Right.
And they eliminate, and that's essentially what they're doing, right? They're eliminating one, and then they have a runoff between the.
So what is that? Just if I guess. Or
I think that's kind of what
it's similar.
Because the runoff's like if we all four went and no one had like a majority vote, so then
we all got 25%.
LJ clearly was going to be the bottom, so then we knock LJ off and we have.
Well, yeah, say we got 30.
We all got 20%, 25%, and I'm still clearly the bottom.
No, we didn't say the 25%.
So like we got 30, and you got 10, then you're out, and we would.
But you lose some information with that you have with the ranked voting system.
Mm-hmm. Because those 10% that voted for me might have, split between these two pretty evenly and not given you any votes.
In that system, the person who might drop off initially might actually be the person that most people would be okay with. But because they voted for maybe more extreme candidates on either side, they got more of the votes. But really, we would all be happiest with the moderate person.
Yeah.
So what I've read is that the ranked voting system maybe isn't doesn't work as well when you work out the theory behind it all.
Okay.
That it still leads to split situations where somebody would end up.
Speaking of voting, and we talked about a little bit with like technology, and you talked about like if you don't know something now with Google on our phones and stuff, why do we have to go somewhere to vote? Would you not make it easier if you could just vote from? Because we always have this problem where not enough people are voting. Like that was when people complain.
Well, it's for validation as much as anything, isn't it?
I think so. I think because for one, we've already seen how our current election stuff is relatively hackable. I mean, it happens.
Right.
So if you just have it on your personal computer where your password's saved to Google and someone is in your computer, it might be possible for your vote to be completely fabricated and then you just get a fake vote screen or something like that.
Well, it just seems, I guess I get that. That makes sense. I just, the thing about people not being able, like maybe you don't have a car, you couldn't go vote, whatever it is. Like I just think we should make it as easy as possible to vote. So let's vote from home. Let's do mail-in votes.
I think the first step is maybe don't make the vote only on a Tuesday. If the vote took 3 days or if it was over a weekend day, then
they do early voting.
You can early vote.
Yeah, but the election, I mean, the big day that, everybody's wearing their sticker and stuff like that. I mean, the people that forgot to do the early voting, it's a Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon. They have to get into an old smelly school gym or something like that. So if they moved it to a Saturday, I think a lot more people would just remember and then go show up because, they saw all the Facebook posts or whatever, than the people that are like, well, I got to work today. I mean, I just can't take off.
Well, but any business I've ever been in is go vote. They'll vote,
then you don't work in the service industry. I mean, if you don't show up because you're a waiter, then you don't have a job tomorrow.
Yeah, true that.
Some jobs, I think they're required to pay you to go vote almost. Like you have to get an hour off and you get a paid hour. I don't know. There's something
I hadn't heard
going
about
on.
that.
I thought there was something about that. I don't know. I don't know very well enough, so I don't want to spew falsities.
That would be uncouth.
But I do think the Tuesday is the last day you can vote. It's not necessarily.
What's the only day that you can go to your polling place, though?
How do you? I guess I've never early voted. How do you early vote?
Lately, that's the only way I do it because it is so easy.
How do you early vote?
So there's all the polling locations aren't all open, obviously. So you got to figure out where they take the early votes. And it's just here. It's at the courthouse, which is, I believe it's one of the locations, but not where I would normally go. So one day when I was running an errand, I just stopped by and dropped in real quick.
Don't wait on the lines, and it's just
no line. Took a few minutes, and I was out.
When does it usually open? Is it 2 weeks before
I think
the
it's
Tuesday,
like 2
or
weeks or a week?
Yeah, I don't know.
It depends. I think
something like
it
that
differs, but I think 2 weeks usually.
Are you ever worried if you do early vote? It feels like there's always some news that drops like the day before the election that could definitely change my mind because there's always some big thing that just now comes out. Are you ever worried that you're going to early vote and then find out that you voted for somebody you don't like now that the election?
Maybe you vote and then you realize that that person pronounces a GIF.
Yeah, right, right. They do a presser.
You're like, wow, I need to take this back.
The chance. I mean, if I felt like if I was worried that might happen, then I would probably.
I guess if you're on the fence, you might.
Yeah.
But
okay. I always wait till I hear a GIF or GIF from him.
Right.
Isn't there something, and you might know, Benji, but they couldn't, because if the East Coast returns would be in and they report on this presidential election, this Trump's so far ahead that people on the West Coast may not even go out and vote.
Right.
So don't they delay some reporting for that reason, or do they not anymore? There was some discussion on that, but I don't remember.
I don't know the answer to that either.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you can see how it could affect an election.
Oh, it definitely does. I mean, I know for a fact that California, allegedly less people turned out than usual because
they know.
Well, I guess this year it was because it was expected, not because the numbers actually on the East Coast look good for Trump. And so anybody in California probably would have known before they voted, there's still time to get out there. Any Democrats in California, I just assume anybody in California votes for Democrats, but that's not necessarily true.
But I suppose any kind of feedback you get, just like the pre-election polls that take place, are going to affect people's
definitely
inclination to go vote.
Yeah. But did you have any more on voting systems that you wanted to?
No, just it's interesting.
I just
So you start reading about this. It's something that you think is so straightforward. It just often ends up, you realize you know nothing about how things work.
What's that book you've got up in your library? Do Do you remember what it's called? Because I'd like to give that a shout out because that's a really good book about voting systems.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
We might have to look it up and maybe put it in the show notes.
It just seems like this ranked voting seems like less toxic, and it seems like the better way to.
Right.
Well, and that's one of the things they talk about in that book. That's where I learned about ranked voting, I think. And it talked about the larger group of people tend to be happier in a system like that because they got to vote for the person they wanted to and not against somebody.
Yeah, like even if I put you first and Benji second and Benji still wins, at least I wasn't like it was second.
Right.
Like I still kind of voted for him.
Right.
And that would tend to be what happens, I think, especially in the way our political system is right now, where we have some extreme candidates and then more moderates. And people might put the extreme candidates at the top of their list.
Because they know that the other extreme people are going to vote for them, so they want to be at least on their side.
Or just maybe we're as polarized as we kind of are right now. Maybe people are kind of extreme, but then they rank the moderate people underneath, and they would end up generally being more popular, would end up being elected, and like you said, more people would be happy.
Because the way it turns out now, it's like if you either voted for Clinton or Trump, and whichever one didn't win, now you're like, that's not my president.
Right.
Like,
so not only did your candidate not win, but the total polar opposite is. So now you're just flip flopping. You could see how that could kind of bring people together and moderate us as a country.
Because every 4 years, it just seems like just under half the people are pissed off. I mean, and so you're right.
But even that, so that sounds good. You start working, like I said before, through the theory, and you see that, there's some bad situations that come out of ranked voting systems. So there are other systems as well. Like one, I can't remember what it's called, but it's where you just mark down the ones that you'd be okay with, and you don't rank them.
Oh, interesting. So there's 10 candidates, and I'm cool with 3 of them, so I'll mark those 3. But they don't know which of the 3 I like the best. They're just
But the theory, there's some arguments. Generally, the right person getting elected, maybe even better than ranked voting systems.
Interesting. Oh, that's cool. I think I like that.
Is there another country that does it that way that we?
Yes, there are other countries that do it these other ways. I don't know who they are.
It'd be worth looking into, though.
I feel like
it's working there.
Man, there's a lot of research in my future.
No,
this is
that's a very.
We're just skimming over
question.
this little article about how ranked choice voting worked in Maine and how it should be used in presidential races. It's just, I kind of want to do more research on it because it is interesting. And it does seem like a logical.
I'm about to spend a ton of time on Wikipedia. Bet you that. Actually, there's some good YouTube videos too that explain different sort of systems I've seen a long time ago.
Do y'all ever donate to Wikipedia when they do the?
No, and I feel bad about it.
I do every year. I give not a large amount, but I do give some money to Wikipedia every year.
I never do. I probably should because like all the time. Like someone, where to go to college while I'm watching a football game. I Google and I pull this Wikipedia up and then I read like, he was from Longview or something, And
then 6 hours later, you're like reading about Hitler's backstory and stuff like that. Like it's just a whole.
Well, we're at the point where we've got you guys covered with the Wikipedia donations.
Somewhat, because
we probably got you.
I've used more than my $3 a year that they ask for.
You'll roll it forward.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a social security system that actually works.
Yeah, right. That's what it is.
There you go.
Speaking of them having us covered on, like, I know maybe some people might use their father's login to use like HBO or something. How they have to be able? So I think we are going to streaming soon all around. How do they police that?
How do they police?
Like, how does HBO police to where I don't use, if say I was using Pops' login, how do they make sure I'm not using, like I'm buying my own? Because it hurts them that three people are using one login. They'd rather us all purchase it, right?
Do they police it?
I was about to say, I don't have any anecdotal evidence, but if I did, I'd tell you that the only policing that they do is making sure not too many streams are happening at once. There's no check-in to see if LJ's in Chicago.
But they have to soon. I would think that's coming, right?
I would think
that's what I'm wondering is, do they limit they limit the simultaneous streams. They've got to, right?
Most things do. Yeah, most of them
I think
do.
Netflix does like 3 screens and you can upgrade to 7.
Right, but that's like, I view that as like part of the deal. It's like they know that you're going to do stuff like this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you're just buying a certain number of streams from Netflix and how they get used, whatever. However, you could see how someone could set up a service where they have streams that people can use.
Yeah.
So we have, say, 4, and most of the time, most of those aren't being used.
Yeah.
But you guys could be using them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you knew about it.
Right.
If you knew which ones were being used and which ones weren't.
It would just be efficient.
Well, so for NFL season, Dad pays for the Sunday ticket and he gets the Red Zone channel and he watches it on his TV, but he's not streaming it. So one person can be streaming it. Oftentimes, me or LJ maybe. I'll just say for myself, I'm sitting there streaming Red Zone channel while he's watching it. I'm not paying a dime for it. You got to think they want that.
DirecTV, this is all a work of fiction. Everything we say is fictional
for entertainment only.
Yeah, allegedly. I'm
but you could in theory do that. Yeah.
I just
Can
think
you stream it and someone else can? Only one person can stream.
Again, I have no anecdotal evidence, but I'm pretty no. Only one person can be streaming it online on the Sunday Ticket.
Not that I know this, but if you try to log in while, say, your brother is streaming your dad's Sunday Ticket, it'll say you're logged in somewhere else.
Yeah.
You need to log off. So they do police that, only one stream at a time.
It'll also do it. I mean, it doesn't necessarily like if my laptop were streaming and then I was like, let me put it on the TV, I'd have to like log out of the laptop first. So.
But I don't know how they go to it. So I was thinking, how could they police it? And it would be like, this only can be accessed from a computer on dad's Wi-Fi. But then that's screwy because he might want
IP address, right?
Because
I
he
have
might
a
want
unique IP address for this laptop, right?
But I think that doesn't work either because you might borrow
someone's iPad.
LJ, you might see LJ at the airport and think, man, I wish I could watch him. He's like, I have my extra iPad. You can log into your stuff here.
You're right. And I have an iPad
and then
an iPhone.
that would
want to be
piss
able to
you
watch
off
it on
if you couldn't
all
log
of
into your HBO Go.
You're right.
That you pay for, you know. I don't know how they police it, but I feel like something's coming eventually.
This is nothing new, though. This has been around ever since we've had digital content of any kind that could be copied. I mean, software piracy protection from a long time ago. It's always a trade-off between a hassle for the people trying to consume the content and protecting their
and I guess what they're kind of hoping is I get so hooked to it, like with like HBO Go. I'm so hooked on to Game of Thrones and Westworld and whatnot. That one time where I'm trying to watch it and Dad's watching something and it kicks me off, and obviously I'm not going to go, Dad, get off your HBO. Then they'll sucker me, and now I'm so hooked I'll pay for it, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. They factor that in. They factor in a certain amount of loss that they're acceptable with, or piracy, whatever. And then on the other hand, it's a form of advertising.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if I'm not paying for HBO, but I'm still talking about Game of Thrones on the podcast, I mean, more people are thinking about watching that show and maybe buying their own HBO Now subscription.
Shoot, it goes just past this past weekend. We talked about it a little bit. That Bird Box movie came out on Netflix, and everybody and their mama was on social media talking about this Bird Box movie. And a lot of those people probably watched it on other people's accounts, but it still is good to have people talking about Bird Box on Netflix, because now you in Chicago might have saw that and went, all right, I need to get my $7.99 Netflix subscription.
Right.
I want to watch it because I can't find anyone else's login or something.
Yeah.
I think it's a little more than $7.99.
It depends on how many screens and what sort of.
Okay,
you got maybe a few people using your login. There may be someone
like whether you want like
okay.
Well, but like Netflix actually like makes that like they let you pick a username and everything. Like that's an intentional part of Netflix is to be shared. So like but I guess I thought about it too with Prime. Like I use. Maybe say I use my aunt's Amazon Prime to get free 2-day delivery. And like, if you look on there, it has a bunch of different addresses that you can send something to, which would be what she would have if she was ordering, because she might want to send something to you or Dad. But it also has different cards. Like, so they know that with all the different people using cards and different addresses, they have to know other people are using her Prime. If they
but
were,
I guess they're fine with they're fine with that, and they'll say, well,
that's the other thing with Amazon. You're still spending money.
Yeah,
I mean, their goal overall is for you to buy things. The free shipping is just something they can give you to make that happen. So
so you'll keep coming back and buying. Soon, I feel like we're soon gonna quit going to grocery stores. We're just gonna have everything.
Oh yeah, I mean,
mailed to us.
That's real in Chicago right now. You don't have to ever go to any store.
So the next worry, though, right, is you've seen this mountain of plastic floating in the ocean,
right?
And
what about all these boxes?
That's what I'm saying. Everybody's getting stuff delivered, more packaging materials.
What do you do with that box? I just throw it away.
Well, I'm the kind of environmentalist that I feel bad while I'm breaking it down and throwing it away. I mean, I do, but I'm still going to do it because it's not staying here. Yeah, I got to get it out of my house.
Now, do you guys recycle cardboard?
There's not at my place.
We have it here. Well, they don't come pick it up here, but we can take it in, which we do, because I'd feel bad throwing all the stuff away.
Especially rough this time of year when you get just boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff.
But if you're not making it convenient for people, I'm kind of like that. Like, I feel bad about it, but if it's not convenient to recycle it, sometimes I'm just going to go, okay, I'll break it down and throw it away.
So I hadn't thought about this before, but once we do transition fully to having all your goods just delivered to your house, I would think that they could drastically reduce packaging of these things. Like, okay, the electronics, you go and buy something at Best Buy, used to, and it would be in this plastic package that, you're going to, it's almost impossible. It takes special tools to
Yeah,
get in there and get it out. But a lot of that was protecting the products from, theft. You wouldn't have to worry about that anymore, right?
I would think to some degree, yeah. Well, I was talking about this with somebody. I can't remember who. It might have been one of you guys, but we were talking about like Amazon's essentials or whatever, like the stuff that they. Was that with you?
Yeah.
They send it with a lot less packaging and extra material.
It's just like it's in a little cardboard box, which to me feels
a lot better than
more.
Well, just like the boxes that we're not knowing what to do with. The same thing goes when I go to the grocery store. I have under my sink. I have a million Walmart bags that I guess they do the thing now where you can take your own bag.
Well, and I mean, Chicago, they actually tax you for taking bags, which I think is a fantastic thing. So it encourages you to have 4 bags that you bring with you.
I honestly can't tell you. I don't really know why. I think it's just because I remember parents doing it when I was younger. But I say of all those Walmart bags, I probably have like
I know that
Walmart
I
bags
still
under my
know that
sink.
they fit in that trash can that Dad used to have.
Target bags.
Target bags
right.
are my favorite. Oh yeah, I love me some Target bags.
But yeah, I think you were trying to get rid of any
soon. I think
straws.
Amazon's trying to test out where they can deliver stuff with drones to where they can deliver it like same day, not 2-day shipping. Like press I want this, by the time you get home at 5, it'll be sitting on your.
Yeah, they have same day delivery on some.
Is that just because there's a ton of warehouses around?
Yeah. I mean, I know the way it works in Chicago is there's a lot of stuff that's same day delivery because they keep a warehouse full of a lot of products that they sell often in Chicago. And so, it would take the same amount of time for them to get it from there to your house. So, why not charge you $3 more to do what instead of just waiting another day?
It's kind of like Benji brought up with Amazon. Like one, it'll kind of be like they'll soon, if we did go to like fully doing our grocery shopping that way, then they would start like, hey, it's been 30 days. You're probably running low on toilet paper. You ready for us to send some more? That one, they would like be kind of controlling my purchases. And I eventually I'm the one saying yes, but it'd also be super convenient. Like you don't even have to worry about running out of toilet paper because right when you get 2 left, oh shoot, yeah, I do want to order some more toilet paper. It just gets sent. I think it's convenient, but it's also like now Amazon's going to be telling me when I need to buy something and I'm probably going to do it. I'm probably going to go, oh yeah, that is right. I do need to buy this.
Yeah. But I like I think we are in line for a renovation. That's not the word in packaging.
But like a
packaging
renaissance,
material, a renaissance in it because.
Can we lead it? I mean, we've got the great minds here.
There's got to be a way to make money.
There's
on
money
it,
in it. Yeah.
There's money in it.
Yeah.
So it's worth thinking about.
We'll call it a GIF with the G, something with the G. Pronounce the G.
Anyway. I totally get GIF. I get it.
Yeah.
I get GIF.
Just don't like it.
Yeah.
So let's put a bow on this podcast the only way we know how, and let's go to where we always end it. What we're listening to. I'm gonna go start off with you, LJ. What have you been?
I've been listening to this band called the No BS Brass Band. There's this song called what's it called? 3 a.m. Bounce, I think it is. And they performed it. There's a YouTube video I'll share with you to put on the show notes. Okay. But there's a YouTube video of them playing at a taco shop that I go to in Chicago sometimes, and they are just like it's a I think a 12-person brass band just jamming out on the streets. Like it is so cool. Yeah. So
No BS Brass Band.
The No BS Brass Band. I'll show you here in just a little bit.
All right.
Once we're off air.
Pops, what do you?
Well, I don't have anything. And there was somebody I loved listening to the other day.
Yeah.
And now I can't remember. So I'm gonna say this one because it is a song, and I'm not even sure how to say her name. Is it Verite? Verite? She's got a song Underdressed. It's a really great song. You would know it if I play it, but I'll put it on the website. Verite, but it's got the little tildes on it. So I don't know how you say that.
I don't know who we're talking about.
Maybe Verity.
Verity.
Verity Underdressed. I'll put that on the website.
All right then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. What kind of music is it?
I mean,
LJ usually gives us a little description. He gets
it's but poppy. I mean,
okay.
It's
all right.
It's moved to a
like
little
good
bit.
mood music.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good stuff. You'll like it.
Cool.
Benji, you got anything? You been listening to anything?
Well, the last thing that I put on that I can think of was, you know what happened? I was flipping through the channels.
There we go.
And I saw a Sting concert, and it put me in a mood.
Okay.
So last thing I did was I threw on just like a best of Sting album on the Sonos. Was chilling to that.
Nice.
Sting and the Police.
So I got a text a while back ago from a friend named Shayla, and she was just like, "Hey, got someone you need to listen to."
Okay.
And apparently they've been around for a while, and Dad knows them. But the Tedeschi Trucks,
Susan Tedeschi Trucks Band. Yeah,
they are good. It's got like a good little vibe to it. It's kind of acoustic-y sometimes. I mean, and then apparently, what's her name? Susan Tedeschi has a cover of, what was the song you had me listen to, Dad? It was
Don't Think
really
Twice,
good.
It's all right. It's an old Bob Dylan song, and she kills it.
I've never heard of this woman before,
good.
and her voice is great. And then I think you were telling me she was her own musician.
She was a musician
married
before, and
someone
then
in
she
this
got to Derek. Her and Derek
Derek
Trucks
Trucks.
got together.
So
Yeah, this is Derek
some
Trucks.
badass bluesy guitar.
Yeah, Derek
wow.
Trucks is
Good.
Oh, he's
Yes.
great. And then you
Okay.
put Susan Tedeschi's voice. I don't know.
All right. I probably should, but I don't think I do.
You'd probably have heard her. She's so good. So Tedeschi Trucks is yours good.
Well, and there's something too. There's nothing more like that message you get from someone who's like, "Hey, I got someone you need to listen to."
Mm-hmm.
And if it's someone you've never heard of and you have no idea what, like, she didn't give me any like idea of what I was getting into. She's like, "Just go listen to Tedeschi Trucks, man." And I was like, "What should I listen to?" Like, just hit it up on Spotify, see if you like it.
Yeah,
and it was good. So it's always
Looks
fun
like you
getting
found
some new
something else.
music.
Yeah, I remembered it. I got introduced to a new artist
Okay.
a few days ago that I had never seen before by LJ. It's Daimao Kosaka, something like that. It's an interesting song
Which
called PPAP.
Oh my god.
I don't know what it is.
Pen, pineapple, apple pen. Have you heard that song?
So glad this music video is going to be on our website now. I'm so happy about this. Okay, great.
There you go.
Well, now I feel like I need to go Google this or YouTube it.
Yes, you do. We all do.
All right, I think that'll wrap us up. Do you have anything else to
I wanted
throw
to
in?
note. So we're talking music. I think with two people whose music tastes I really like, in Kevin. So,
Kevin's here too.
but no, I noticed you had a playlist on your iTunes called Melancholy. I think you had a playlist called Pensivity.
I did have one Pensivity.
I bet those playlists are. I don't know if they're similar in song title and whatnot, but I bet that those are very similar playlists. I don't know.
We have to exchange some playlists.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
I think that'd be
Yeah.
just a note I wanted to throw out there. But,
Y'all have interesting names for your my playlist name.
I know that's what stood out to me is like it's a good name for a playlist. Both of those are really good names for playlists.
So what did you think when you checked out the songs in the list?
I didn't really. I had a job to do. I was finding music videos, so I just happened to see.
You weren't in a place where you could afford to get depressed.
Right, yeah.
Or he just wasn't that intrigued. He thought the name was cool, but
Pops cracks me up. If you look at his playlist, he has like songs I like, songs I think I like, songs I might like. He has like a system, and they go from one to the other once they've like graduated to the songs I think I do like. And
yeah,
then
I got one. Okay, I do like Keepers. You know,
Do you guys have like a list of your all-time favorite songs?
Oh, yeah.
Can you do that? Can you rank them? Do you have a number one
Don't you
song?
have a
Zed's got a
Spotify.
top-
Yeah,
but
I've
you've
got
got
my
a
top
list.
500
Yeah.
written. That's going to be some of when sports slows down, which is soon.
Very soon.
We're going to start talking about some of that. So yeah,
Do you have a
Do you have
list?
some-
Yeah, I have a short list. 500.
Yeah, 500 is ridiculous.
he
Yeah.
does everything accessible.
Okay, wait a minute. I've got my the GIF or whatever. The file is called Top 500, but I don't know that I have it completely populated. I probably have it populated because there might be a song that is it might be 200, but I might have 175 not even filled in yet. I know it's a song that's in my top 200.
You're dropping them in approximately where you think.
approximately where I think they
Right,
rank.
okay.
They rank. So
I just imagine you said like 492 or 490. 490. No, 491. I think.
I will share
this is
that.
a 491.
I will share that with you.
All right, it just has a 491 sound to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I have a hard time listening to a song too many times, so I don't really have like a list.
So I may not be here again. If I'm not, I want to hear what's number one on your. Do you have a number one
I think-
filled yet?
Is this still the same?
Still the same.
Marvin Gaye?
Marvin Gaye.
All right. Let's get it on, right?
Let's get it on. That's number one. Let's get it on.
That's a
Marvin
good
Gaye.
one.
That's good. You
What's
don't
number
have
one? What's number one for you?
Superstition. Stevie
Good
Wonder.
choice.
That's a very
choice.
excellent.
John knows
Excellent
he's
choice.
not actually blind.
Oh, God.
Oh my God, Kevin. For real. All right.
I can lay this
Podcast is over. I'm turning everything off.
Shout out to Benji and the Yeagers for having us, and we're recording this down at the Yeager Club. We're actually getting to do this in person. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
We need to do this again.
Also, a
having me,
badass
guys.
party just happened right here.
Right here. Where
Still
we stand.
recovering.
We're
Still
sitting
recovering
on
from
the
that.
ashes of it. Yeah.
So let's keep this thing going. 2019, ringing in a good year. New year. Happy New Year to
Happy
everyone.
New Year to
and,
everybody.
Hope you subscribe and give us a review.
Yeah.
Peace out. You ready?
Yeah. We're recording. Can we do a clap test just in case these get separated?
So are we counting down from 3?
I don't know why y'all make so much fun. I do this right every time, don't I? I mean,
Well, we did have about 6 in a row early on.
Where I did something wrong?
Where there was always somebody. It wasn't necessarily you.
Sometimes it was the person counting.
Yeah, that often happened, yeah.
So I'm gonna go from 3. When I get to 0, clap. Again. 3, 2, 1.
Well, that sounded better than it usually does.
Yeah, when there's not like a big delay.
There's no internet lag in this room.
When you were recording, that could be like a hand clap.
I did record it. That's the point.
Yeah. I'm about to
Be like,
might use that one day.
listen to little Justin Timberlake. You know, he's got that hand clap, drink you away.
No idea what you're talking about. That's okay. Yeah.